Are you afraid of being afraid? Do spiders scare you? Cockroaches? Snakes? What's that thing slithering up your arm right now? Are you afraid of clowns? Chainsaw-wielding maniacs? Demons? The man looking at you through your window right now. Don't turn your head, he'll run away. Ah, he's gone. Are you afraid of space? The incomprehensibly vast lifelessness of the universe? Are you afraid of the ocean? Do deserted amusement parks frighten you? Do abandoned, haunted buildings make you shudder? Have you ever stood next to a dilapidated old psychiatric asylum and seen someone staring back at you out of the corner of your eye? What makes you afraid? What scares you? What makes you shudder? What makes your hair stand on end? What makes your spine tingle? What makes your muscles tense? What sends you running in terror? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Are you scared of laughter? Lights out, everybody. It is later than you think. Lights Out brings you the stories of the supernatural and the supernormal, dramatizing the fantasies and the mysteries of the unknown. We tell you this frankly, so if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginative plays, we urge you calmly but sincerely to turn off your radio now.
Women. I tell you, they make me sick like I have never been sick before. Every year I get a headache. Every year it is the same time. The annual visit of the wives of our dear trustees. Those women, why must they come here, disrupting our work? Hello. Yes, this is Dr. Alberts. What? Sandwiches for what? Is this a research laboratory or a restaurant? All right, order the sandwiches. Maybe if they eat, they go away faster. Yeah, I leave everything to you. Goodbye. Sandwiches. I tell you, it makes me sick. They look in the test tubes. Do they understand what is in them? No. But every year they come. Every year the same foolish questions. Every year the same waste of time. The wives of the trustees, home they should stay. Now then, what were we discussing? Yes, your newspaper article on the end of the world. And it is my belief that the rotation of the earth will gradually slow down until someday the earth will stop entirely. Yeah, and when that day comes, it will mean the end of all human life, inevitably. 6 months of unbelievable cold, and then 6 months of unendurable heat. Finished. Everything. Why should the Earth stop rotating, you ask? It whirls in a frictionless vacuum, doesn't it? Yeah, but there are influences which drag it back, particularly the tides of the ocean. Eventually, just as the moon's revolutions have stopped, so will the Earth. And then, for man, calamity. Of course, that will all happen, maybe hundreds or thousands of years from now. Time yet to clean up a few loose ends? I don't know why I waste my time with you. You are like the other reporters, nothing but wisecracks and foolishness. It is all right. I need more wisecracks in my life. You are a fine young man, Louis. Never have you distorted what I have told you to make sensationalism for the headlines like most of the other newspapermen have. You have always been honest with me, and I like you. Now then, for this symposium of what scientists predict for the end of mankind, you might also say that I predict that the end for mankind will come with the cessation of Earth's rotation, because at that time one side of the Earth will always be hidden from the sun, and consequently will be covered with an ice cap hundreds of miles thick. On the other hand, the side that always faces the sun will be heated to a point where everything will be burnt down to the great desert of red-hot sand affected by the direct blasting heat of the sun. But if you think future man could live in this section, think again. Life would be impossible. A great tearing hurricanes moving hundreds of miles an hour will roar, never stopping, from the sunny side of the world to the cold side until finally the air itself is frozen up and there can be no more winds. You can quote me as saying further that of only one thing in the future Leon Alberts is absolutely positive of, and that is that when the catastrophe does occur... Excuse me, please. Yeah, what is it? The trustees' wives want me to show them the mechanical heart. I knew it. Mr. Lewis, why is it the minute a visitor comes into the Institute, right away the first thing they must see is the mechanical heart? The idea of a heart beating away and having life outside of a body is rather intriguing. Yeah, but this is an institute of research, not a sideshow. Who says that I won't show it to them? Come along, Mr. Lewis. You will see me in my annual role as, how you say it, a sideshow barker. Come along. At the end of the world, what does that matter when the wives of the trustees want to be entertained? Women. They make me sick. They make me sick like I've never been sick before. You hear them, Louis? Was it for this that the first organism that was eventually to become man struggled its way out of the protozoic slime 800 million years ago? If you please, this way, ladies. The dear doctor is ready for you. Quiet, ladies, quiet, please, if you please. This table here, if you would step this way, if you please, ladies. So, now I can explain. If you will step closer and look where I point, you will see inside of the quartz container is the isolated, extricated chicken heart. Yes, it really does look like a chicken heart. And that is what it is. The chicken, to whom this heart was a vital organ, is dead already for 17 months. But here in this apparatus, a modification of the robot heart developed by Lindbergh and Carrel, this heart has gone on in an independent existence, beating away as if it were still part of a living fowl. Through these tubes, as you can see, a constant stream of liquid is flowing to and from the heart. This liquid is called Hartmann's solution and simulates tissue fluid. Yeah, the blood. The solution artificially replaces the blood. What keeps that artificial blood circulating? I will show you. Here, in this case, I open it. You see? A tiny electronically driven pump. Yeah, what we call a synchronized alternating pump. It drives the life fluid through the heart 60 times per minute. And so the heart lives on and on, though the body it came from is long dead. As long as we keep the serum that is circulating through it fresh and at the proper temperature, there is no reason why this heart cannot outlive all of us. In fact, if an apparatus such as this had existed in the days of, say, Napoleon, we might today stand and watch the heart of the Frenchman beating away as it did 168 years ago. You don't believe the chicken heart is really living and beating in there? Then I will put the stethoscope against the chamber. You will hear. So, now, listen. So, now you have heard it. And now you can each have the chance to come and hear through the stethoscope. If you will approach one at a time. No, ladies, please. One at a time. No, do not push the apparatus. You will please be careful. Ladies, please. The instruments, they are delicate. You will break. Look out! Broken. The experiment ruined. Get out of here. Get out of here, all of you. Get out. You have ruined months of work. You silly women, you. Months of work. See, the apparatus broken. The heart stopped. Everything ruined. I don't care if you are the trustees' wives. Get out, you women. Get out. Get out. Louis, that reporter, here to see me again. All right, send him in. Send him in. Well, what is it? You're here to get the rest of the material about the symposium on the end of the world for the Sunday feature story you're running. Yeah, I remember it only too well. Those women. Salvage. Will be able to salvage anything. You think with such delicate equipment as with a living heart, there could be salvage? No, the experiment is ruined. Ruined. It was a lesson. Hereafter, as long as I am head of this institute, there will be no more sightseers to the laboratory. This is a place of scientific work, not a sideshow. This is a place of... What? What's the matter? Come, quickly. Quickly, where? What's the matter with you, young man? Is there a fire or something? Speak up. It's what? If you cannot open the door, why bother me? Call the janitor. What's the matter with you? Something else? Something terrible? What are you talking about? Is everyone going crazy around here? You hear what I have to put up with, Mr. Lewis? The door to the laboratory is stuck, so this man goes crazy. All right, I'll go with you. Come along, Louis. Maybe in between acting as a nursemaid to crazy women and crazy laboratory assistants, maybe I can give you the rest of the article on the end of the world. Come along. There is a simple explanation for that peculiar odor. The women last Friday, they knocked over the table, the chemicals. I was so disgusted, like you say, I drove them out and locked the door. Well, here we are. So, open the door, young man. What? You can't. There's something holding the door back. Something soft, yielding, something living. You are crazy. Put my ear against the door and listen. Yeah, I'll listen. Louis, listen. Your ear, close to the door. Lub, dub, lub, dub, lub, dub. In heaven's name, what is back there? Come away from the door. Hand me that fire axe off the wall. Yeah, it sounded like some sort of pump. No, you fool, don't break down the door, the hinges. Knock the pin out and the door will fall open. Here, let me. There, now the other side. So, now stand to one side, the edge of the axe in here. Without the hinges, the door will fall open. One side. So, Here it comes. One side. Mutter in Himmel! That huge piece of flesh on the floor. Where did it come from? Where? Listen to it. Listen. Pulsing. Pulsing. It is flesh, isn't it? Yeah, it is flesh. A living mass of meat as large as a chair. It cannot be. And yet, it is flesh. It's pulsing. It is the chicken heart. And do we know what happened? The apparatus was accidentally smashed, and over the weekend, in some miraculous manner, that little chicken heart, no longer than my thumbnail, grew into a mass of pulsing flesh 1,000 times its original size. Miraculously grew. But in science, there are no miracles. I want to know why it grew. Why? No, wait. Here is a possibility. When those women knocked over the apparatus, it fell against a lack of chemicals. Is it not possible that some unknown combination of those reagents acting upon the tissue resulted in what you might choose to call a miracle? The super growth of this heart, this independent existence of an organ outside its own bodily environment. Yeah, it is the only possibility. But there must be no newspaper publicity, my friend. I must have time, the peace, quiet to analyze, investigate. If I can discover the secret of this independent existence, it may be in my power to do wonders for medical science. Wait, what's that noise? Come quickly. What's wrong? The heart? At the heart? It's feeding. No, that is not possible. It is not possible, I tell you. Quiet, everybody. Quiet now. Stand away from the door. Now then, one of you, you, Dr. Akito, what is the matter? You were standing at the doorway here, discussing this with one of the other men of the staff, when suddenly, out of the mass of the flesh, a long tentacle of protoplasm thrust itself upward. You mean out of the heart? It moved out until it reached that case of white mice there, and then it wrapped itself around one of the mice. Go on. Then the tentacle retracted itself, and the mass of flesh engulfed the mouse. The moment the mouse disappeared into the tissue, the appearance of the entire mass changed completely. Yeah, I see. The color is changing. Reddish gray. The edges. The thing is crawling. No, it is not crawling. See, it is glowing. Unbelievable. Hyperplasia of tissues at so rapid a rate. It cannot be. Just a mass of flesh. What is it growing on? What? Look, from the center of it, it is a tentacle of flesh like before. A pseudopod, like from a simple organism, reaching out. What is it reaching for? Groping along the floor. Dr. Akito, stand back. It might... Look out! No, Louis, don't go near it. The axe! There's that axe! It's pulling Akito back toward it. It sucked him in. Look out! Another one! Another tentacle! Run! Run for your lives! Run! Captain, you must believe me. I tell you, the only hope is to burn the building to the ground at once. I tell you, burn it. To the ground. It is the only hope. Believe me, it is. That tissue is undergoing constant mitosis. It is proliferating so rapidly that it has choked the building with living flesh. Burn, I tell you, burn, you dumb fool. There's no time to waste. Wait a minute. There is no minute. There is no second. This thing must be destroyed. Now, while it is confined. Ah, don't you understand? For some reason, I cannot even imagine this tissue is doubling in size every hour. Do you know what that means, you dumb fool, you? In another hour, it will be twice the size of it now, and long before that, it will break open the building with the force of its pressure. Yes, pressure of the growing flesh will thrust the building aside as if it were paper, and then it will be free in the street. Do you hear me? Free in the street. And then the pseudopods, those tentacles of protoplasm stretching out. It lives on human flesh. You hear me? On flesh. That building must be burned, and the clouds must be kept back. Farther back, I tell you, farther back, or else... What's that? What? The building? See the walls cracking. I warned you. I warned you. Get back. Everybody get back. Everybody get back. I tried to warn them. But now it is too late. Too late. The flesh is free. Please, gentlemen. Mr. Mayor, just a word. A word. Gentlemen, listen to me. It was in my institute this horror began, and if you give me the chance, maybe I can stop it. Yes, I will tell you. That great, ever-growing mass of flesh, it is, or it was, a chicken heart. Yes, chicken heart, I tell you, chicken heart. Listen to me, you fools. Listen. I tell you that mass of flesh was a chicken heart, the tissue of which, for some reason, a mystery of science, is undergoing constant, rapid, accelerating growth. With every passing hour, its growth is doubling. Do you know what that means, you fools? If it is now 1 block in size, within 30 hours that cannibal flesh will have increased in size to 1 square block to the 30th power. In 30 hours, every inch of this whole city will be crushed under that moving flesh. Within 60 hours, it will have covered the entire state. Within 2 weeks, the entire United States. You ask for the National Guard. I say call out the entire United States Army. Blast this thing off the earth. Bombs, artillery. It is the only way, gentlemen. It is the only way to save the earth. Ah, the fools! What good is water? I told them the only hope is bombs, artillery. Useless. It has grown too large, and it grows too quickly. The flesh is already engulfing the guns. They came too late. Ah, Mr. Lewis. Yeah, I'm all right, Mr. Lewis, all right. Yeah, I saw. Another 10 minutes and you couldn't have taken off. That protoplasm was sucking at the wheels by the time you left the ground. 5,000 feet. We'll cruise around up here for a few minutes and then head west. But it will do no good. I have told you, like I have told so many. The flesh below, it grows like a mathematical progression. Faster, greater. There is no hope. It will go on and on until there is no more place more to go. In the Institute, when it was small, then there was hope. Fire would have killed it. But now, what can man do? It is like telling the sea to go back. Look at it down there. A grey blanket of evil covering everything. No hope, I tell you. None. See how the roads are black with men and women and children running for their lives. See how the protoplasmic grey reaches out and engulfs them. The government has sent bombing planes to blast it off the earth. Bombing planes and poison gas. But there's no hope. It will be the same as bombing the ocean. The flesh will go on and on. It is too late. The little men down there did not believe their doom either until it engulfed them. Oh, listen to me, Louis. You remember only a handful of days ago you asked me my prophecy of the end of the earth. You remember my answer. Ah, such a scholarly prophecy. Cessation of earth rotation. Mighty sounding astronomical theories. But now, this is reality, Louis. The end has come for humanity, not in the glory of interstellar combustion, not in the peace of white cold silence, but with that creeping, grasping flesh below. The motor, it's cut out. We're in a spin. We can't get out of it. I told you. Doomed. All mankind. Doomed. Doomed. And we with them. We're falling right into it. Into the flesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas has to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity. Professor Pearson of the observatory at Princeton confirms Farrell's observation and describes the phenomenon as, quote, like a jet of blue flame shot from a gun, unquote. The Government Meteorological Bureau has requested the large observatories of the country to keep an astronomical watch on any further disturbances occurring on the planet Mars. We return you now to the music of Ramon Raquello and his orchestra. Yes, what is it? Oh, you've come about the advertisement. That's all right. As long as you got here, that's all that matters. Come in. Just put your suitcase down there. It'll be all right. Now, if you'll come right this way, just step in here, yes, of course, Miss Malone. Now then, you'll have a chair, please. Ah, there we are. Be perfectly frank with you, I wasn't quite expecting you today. Of course, don't give it another thought. Promptness may be a virtue, but we can't all be virtuous now, can we? Ah, now then, you're here in answer to my advertisement. You're the young lady from, oh yes, Cranesville. Ah, that was Iowa, wasn't it? Oh no, Ohio. How stupid of me to forget. Yes, I remember now. I wrote you a letter. Now then, you're the young lady who wanted a position as my secretary, wasn't that it? Oh, you have my letter with you. Orphan? Business school? Yes, you'll do very nicely. Now then, your friends know you came here, of course. There's no one very much interested. Oh, come now. A pretty young girl like you. No young beaus, and so on. I can depend on you to give all your attention to your work. Very commendable indeed. My work, as I wrote you, is entirely confidential. My philanthropies are, to a great extent, entirely sub rosa. No fuss, no feathers. You understand what I mean. As my secretary, my affairs will be entirely in your hands. My checking account, my finances, and so on, entirely in your care. It's quite a responsibility, and as I wrote you, the bank... Oh, you have? Yes, $300. Fine. That's very businesslike. Yes, indeed. I'll give you a receipt. And there we'll be. Of course, you'll get the money back any time you leave my employ. Now then, here you are. Received of Miss Ella Malone $300 to be deposited with the Merchants Bank as surety bond and to be returned to said Ella Malone upon request. And there's my signature. Now then, how's that? Now, I assure you the honor is mine. Giving a youngster an opportunity to rise in the business world. It's little enough to do. Now just put your purse down there, and I'll show you through your new home. We'll go right up these stairs. Yes, you'll find I have quite a place here. 3 stories high, and every inch of it my own design. Careful now, careful. Mustn't hurt yourself. Hardly the way to start a new job. Now then, here we are. No, never mind your suitcase. Bring it up later. No hurry. Right down the hall. Got a nice room for you. Very nice. Fact of the matter is, you can choose any room on this floor. Daughters? Oh, yes, my daughters. I did write you about them, didn't I? Well, never mind about them. They're upstairs, studying. Now, right here, I suggest that you take this room, at least for tonight. Get the light on. There we are. Nice, isn't it? Go on in, look around. Go right ahead. It's going to be your room for quite some time to come, you know. Go on in further. It's such a large room, isn't it? You say you'd like one a little bit smaller. On the contrary, my dear Miss Malone, you'll find this one small enough, perhaps a little too small. Yes, indeed, entirely too small. Yes, Miss Nord. There's no doubt in my mind at all that you're the very person I want to employ as my housekeeper. Of course, the matter of being housekeeper of a place as large as mine calls for definite qualities. You understand, of course. But I know you'll always do your best, and one certainly can't ask for more than that. No, indeed. Wife? Oh, yes, of course. I wrote you about my wife, didn't I? My wife is out shopping. As soon as she returns, you'll meet her. I'm sure she'll find your recommendations as satisfactory as I did. About money, but we must agree on a salary. I'm the sort of man who has respect for money, and expects a similar respect in others. Oh, yes, and speaking of money, you'll be wanting to open a new bank account, I suppose. Yes, it's my principle that everyone employed by me should have a savings account. Builds character. I'll open an account for you in the morning, and you can transfer any other bank accounts you have back in your hometown up to my bank. Convenience, you know. Now then, supposing you leave all your things here, and we'll go look over the house. Here, right through this door, right this way. Oh, yes, quite an establishment here. Designed it all myself. Yes, I'm certain you will work hard. Now then, right down these stairs. I'll show you everything downstairs first, eh? Oh, yes, washing machine. Everything modern, everything convenient. High, wide basement. There you are. Now watch yourself. It's just a little dark down here this time of day. Building? Oh, yes, indeed. Always building, always changing, always remodeling. Change. My hobby. Always changing things. Now, don't you worry about that. Everything will be cleaned up in short order. Bags of sand and concrete mixer. Everything will be out of the way, won't bother you at all. No, not at all. Right this way. Yes, indeed, I'm making more rooms, with nice clean concrete floors. Here, look at this one. Come on, get closer. All my own work. You see, the floor's still wet. I like concrete, don't you? Yes, covers everything. You know how deep that concrete is? 3 feet deep. Yes, ma'am, 3 feet deep. And I just poured it an hour before you honored me with your presence. 3 feet. That'll make a mighty thick slab of stone, won't it, Miss Nord? Thick enough to cover you. Yes, indeed. A fist to the jaw is still a most effective soporific. You're quite a heavy woman, my dear Miss Nord. Up you go. Face down in wet concrete. What an unusual bed you lie in, Miss Nord, sinking down and down and down. And the concrete will harden, and I guess I'll have to get myself a new housekeeper. Hello, is this the employment agency? This is Mr. Stewart, Mr. George Stewart. I'm interested in employing a nurse for my child. Someone preferably unattached who can live here with my wife and myself. No, just send me their names, addresses, and references and so on, and I'll send you a check for the services. My address is 424 East 7th. Yes, just their names and addresses. Yes, I'll send you a check. Goodbye. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, what is it? Yes, indeed. Won't you come in? I'm Mr. Stewart. You're answering in regard to... Oh, yes, indeed. Won't you step in here, please? Now, you sit there, and I'll sit here, and we'll get better acquainted. Put your suitcase any place. Now then, I'm afraid I didn't quite get your name. Oh, yes, of course. I distinctly remember writing to you. Oh, no, I haven't changed my mind. I'm in definite need of a good secretary. My philanthropies, you know, and you're unquestionably just the person to take matters in hand. Yes, indeed. Now then, you have my letter to you, just to sort of refresh my memory on the circumstances. You didn't bring it with you? Oh, well then, suppose you tell me a little more about yourself and all that's happened. Mother and father see you off to the train, I suppose. Oh, alone? Yes, indeed. Well, I'm sure you'll find everything here quite to your satisfaction. Restful, quiet. I have quite a place here, you know. I'll show you around in a few moments. Yes, but first, there's the matter of the surety bond. I wrote you about that, didn't I? Yes, I felt quite certain of that. You understand, of course, that this money will be returned to you by the bank at the time you wish to leave my employment. Fair is fair, that's what I always say. Yes, indeed, have I had many secretaries? But why do you ask that question? Young woman, who are you? Betty Malone. I don't think I quite know what you're talking about. Now then, what makes you so sure that your sister is here? A letter I wrote to her, and then you waited a whole month. What if I tell you again that I don't know what you're talking about? You'll call the police if I don't tell you where she is. Oh, you're being a very foolish young lady. Very foolish. There is no need to get excited. Of course, your sister's here, and very happy, too. Of course, I'll take you to her. I intended to all along, just having a little joke with you. Now then, come right along with me. Come right along with me. Yes, she's right up there. Been with me over a month. Now then, right down this hall, and you can ask her all those questions yourself. A trick? Oh, my dear young lady, you have easily the most suspicious mind of anyone I've ever met. I'm quite a helpless old man. You always have recourse, as you put it, to the police. Here we are, right in this room. She's slightly indisposed. Go right in. Locked. Well, knock on the door and she'll open it for you. Must be asleep. Well now, this certainly is a tight sleeper. All right, I'll unlock the door. No reason to get excited. There we are. Go ahead. You open the door. Now then, my dear Betty, we understand each other clearly, don't we? Nothing like a complete understanding now, is there? Oh, it wasn't so difficult. I shut the door, sealed it, and nature took care of the rest. But she died quite easily, much easier than others. Why? You mean, why do I do it? It's a very simple explanation, young woman. This is my business. Yes, my business. Why? Why is any business conducted? Profit, my dear. And I've made quite a neat little profit. Oh, yes, and a very safe one, too. And you're the very first to come wandering about looking for one of my customers. The first, and I assure you, the last. Yes, 30 women have come in my front door, 31 including you and Ella. Come along, I'll tell you all about them. You will find it most instructive. Yes, indeed, but I must hold your arm. These corridors, they twist and turn. It's best I hold your arm. Get lost easily around this house. My most interesting house. Yes, there were 30 before you. Most interesting array. I used to read the want ads in small-town papers, and then I'd write letters. Oh, most interesting letters. I needed a secretary, or a housekeeper, or a nurse. Excellent salary. Unusual accommodations, yes, indeed. And they brought all their worldly belongings with them. Generally in a suitcase. A little here and a little there. I assure you it has been most profitable. Now, in this room, for example, the one in here came to be my housekeeper. Let me see, how long ago was it? Well, no matter. She came as a housekeeper, and after she went into retirement in that room, I found in her suitcase such interesting bonds. I tell you, my eyes fairly popped from my head. Ah, yes, it's the uncertainty that makes my little business so very fascinating. Now let's go down a little way. Don't make me pull you along. Oh, it wasn't difficult. Most women are such fools, anxious to believe what they want to believe. Ah, but you're a smart one. That's why I'm even bothering showing you my work. I never did the others. And showing you around won't do harm. You won't be talking long. Now, in this room... Oh, let me open it and show you. You see, there's no reason for excitement. An empty room. That's what she thought when she went in here. Then I pressed this button so, and the trap door flopped open as she stood on it, and down she went. Down, down. Guess into what? A pit of lime. Ah, yes. I tried out so many different ways of killing them. You wonder why they'll never find me out? I'll tell you why. Because I'm much too smart for all of them. Because I figured everything out in order, logically. Oh, not perfect crimes, no, nothing infantile, but just cleverness in choosing the women I do business with, and an equal cleverness in doing away with them. Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, Ella, what does she matter? Just another. Oh, you've got to listen to me. No one else has ever known it, never whispered it before, and never again. Why speak of Ella when I'm telling you about my cleverness? You're not the judge of living and dying in this place. I am. Now then, what was I telling you? Oh, yes, why they'll never get me. Why, my business will go on and on until I have more money than a... No matter that. I want to tell you how I did it. No corpus delicti. And if there is one, no evidence of violence. There, that's the secret. A barrel of quicklime. There's no corpus delicti after that, I tell you. And not when you bury them in a slab of concrete. Ah, yes, that's the secret. And now this room. Let me show it to you. I think this will be your room, my dear. You see the door. Ah, it's airtight. Airtight, yes, indeed. I'll open it. The room. Amazing sight, isn't it? No doors, no windows. But then there's quite a scarcity of windows in my house. Or haven't you noticed that? Ah, but this is a clever room. I'll shut you up inside it, and then I'll close the door and press this little button here, like this. You hear that, little one? You hear that? Pumping, pumping, pumping. And guess what it's pumping? Air. You hear me pumping the air out of the room. Yes, that's clever, isn't it? You breathe, and soon there'll be nothing there to breathe, and then you'll die. And if the police do find your body, no mark of violence, nothing but asphyxiation. A most mysterious death, they'll say, and in time they'll decide it's all quite natural. Embolism, heart attack. Oh, they'll think up a fancy new name to clear their files. Yes, indeed, they always do. Now, first, off with the pump. And now, my dear, I think you'd better step inside and... Quickly now, so I can close the door and go about my other work. Quickly, I tell you. Wait. Wait for what? You want to give me something? What can you give me that doesn't belong to me already? Gun. A gun. You had a gun in your purse all this time? No, don't shoot. I'm an old, harmless man. I was only fooling. I wouldn't hurt you. The air. It's going out. Shut off that motor out there. You hear me? Just shut off that motor. It's pumping out the air. Pumping it out. The pipe. Air going out. I can't reach the pipe. Shut it off, you devil out there. Shut it off. It'll kill me. Kill me. It's getting thinner already. Shut it off. I'll give you anything. Anything you want. Shut off that pump. I can't die. I won't die. I'll tear the walls down. Let me out of here. Air. A man's got to have air. Let me out. Let me out.
Air! Give me air! A breath of air! 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 Give me air! Give me air!
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been handed a message that came in from Grover's Mill by telephone. Just a moment. At least 40 people, including 6 state troopers, lie dead in a field east of the village of Grover's Mill, their bodies burned and distorted beyond all possible recognition. In the meantime, further details of the catastrophe at Grover's Mill are coming in. The strange creatures, after unleashing their deadly assault, crawled back into their pit and made no attempt to prevent the efforts of the firemen to recover the bodies and extinguish the fire. Combined fire departments of Mercer County are fighting the flames which menace the entire countryside. We have been unable to establish any contact with our mobile unit at Grover's Mill, but we hope to be able to return you there at the earliest possible moment. So I looked her up and down and I said, real slow and sarcastic-like. I said, listen, sister, I may not be a Romeo, but you're a heck of a lot too hefty to stand on any balconies. So fare thee well, sister. Catch yourself another streetcar. Here's where I get off. And with that, I'm out the door and on my way. Now, how's that for me telling her off, Sam? Well, you gotta. Women think you crawl, they'll use you for a doormat. Well, not for me. Minute I get my divorce, I said to myself, Eddie, my boy, so you got kicked in the face. All right, so it's a lesson. Don't forget it. And believe me, Sam, I haven't forgotten. Only way a woman's gonna get a wedding ring through my nose is to give me ether and hit me on the head with a club at the same time. And you take that blonde up in surgery. Now I ask you, have we got a prettier nurse in the hospital? Well, I'm telling you, Sam, I could crook my little finger. No, wave it. And that dame would do a 100-yard dash down the church aisle with me. Just because I haven't doesn't mean I can't, now does it? Anyway, it takes dough to get married. If a man's thinking of getting married, you understand. And you certainly can't call what we're making in this place dough, now can you? What do you mean, not bad? That's the trouble. Long as you guys keep talking not bad, we'll never get any decent dough out of the city. $150 a month, not bad. And what do you have to do for that $150 a month, you big lug? Sitting here by this ambulance on duty 14 hours a day, driving the crate through the streets as far as you can go, skidding around corners on 2 wheels, skidding through ice and snow, taking more chances than a fire truck. And all for what? $150 a month? Yeah, you got about as much ambition as a mud turtle. Me, as soon as I get my ticket, I'm going to get myself a staff job in some hick town hospital where I'll be Jupiter on 10 wheels. Yeah, and you'll still be chauffeuring an ambulance around saying, yes, sir, no, sir, to every ward healer that comes along. But me, I'm going places. Go on, you big baboon, laugh. But I'm telling you, I'm not nursemaid in a city ambulance much longer. No, sir. 3 more months of this and I'm going to... Oh, for Pete's sake, just when I'm comfortable. Hand me the phone. Ambulance. Yeah, okay. 433 Pine Street. Did you say Pine? P-I-N-E? There's no houses out that way. Okay, so it's Pine. Yeah, keep your pantaloons on. We're rolling. Somebody's hurt out at 433 Pine. Don't ask me. What could happen on a street like that? Somebody knocked off somebody else just to break the monotony? Come on, get the hack started, fella. So like I was saying, Sam, I walked into the morgue and the old battle puss takes one look at me and says, now look here, Ed. And I says, doctor to you, mister. And then, hey, where are you turning? Why the siren? The only traffic out here is on horseback. Pretty dead, isn't it? Not even sidewalks to take in at night. Say, 433. That must be the house on the hill. Don't you get it? On the hill? Why, there hasn't been anybody living there for 5 years. Something screwy about this. If this is a false alarm, I'll tear whoever did it apart like a herring. Can you imagine that? Get all the way out here before I get wise to where it was. Now all we need to make the night perfect is for it to start raining. Thunder! There it is. Well, how do you like that? Let's check this before it starts to rain. Look, there's a light. Now what do you say to that? Call a cop. Don't be stupid. No one's lived there. I mean, for 5 years. So some smart real estate guy sold a bill of goods. Pull up to the curb. Okay, let's go. Ought to call a cop. Don't be stupid, Sam. The flash is out. The law will get here sooner or later. Come on, baby, let's pick up the body. Somebody was hurt, that's what the switchboard says. Mighty quiet in here. Doesn't seem to be a bell. Well, use your knuckles, knock. Don't seem to be anyone home. Must be, there's a light in there. Try the door. Yeah, it's open. Let's go. Hello in there? Hello? Ambulance? Somebody wanted an ambulance? Huh, I guess nobody wanted one. But that room with the light, they must be behind the door there. Maybe there isn't a light. Maybe it's reflection. I mean, from the street light. Yeah, from the street light, those blasted cops. When the flash went out, it was just as much their job as ours. Why aren't they here? No, we're going in. I tell you, we're going in. Out of my way. Say, nobody here. Kerosene light, but there's nobody here. What the? Ah, look, in the corner. Lady, what's the matter? Lady, we're from the General Hospital. Ambulance. What's the matter here? What? Hold it, Sam, she's out of her head. Lady, what's the matter? What's your name? She is screwy, all right, ain't she? What'll we do? Take her along? Gosh almighty, you see her eyes? They're like fire. Come on, Sam, we'll get her out of here. How do I know what's going on? I'm no psychiatrist. Could something have scared her? Nothing. All right, stop being a mastermind and take her arm. Okay, lady, okay. I was just trying to take your arm. Now, come on, lady, be reasonable. We just want to take you out of here. Somewhere where it's nice and warm and clean. Now, come on. We're gonna have to strong-arm her, Sam. All right, you grab her right arm and I'll grab her left. Now, lady, don't. I'm a doctor. I'm trying to help you. Ow! Stop that crazy... The straitjacket, Sam. We'll have to get the straitjacket. Get it, you stupid goon. Get it before she... Well, for Pete's sake, look who's here. A cop. What are we trying to do with that girl? You big baboon, haven't you got any eyes? Why do you think we're wearing these white uniforms? Think we're a couple of drug clerks? I'm Dr. Edwards, ambulance unit, emergency hospital. Now put that pop gun away and mind your own business, yeah? Well, you'll be a hell of a lot sorrier after I turn in my report. Ambulance at the curb, both of us dressed in our uniforms. And you haven't even got brains enough to know what it's all about. You might have shot us. On top of that, it took you hours to get here. Where you been all this time? Walking your beat? Skip it. All I know is that we're here, and here's this girl out of her mind, and we're gonna take her in. Better circulate and see if there's anybody else in this dump. There ain't nobody lived here for 5 years, and I suppose this woman doesn't exist. Go on, take a look around while we... Sam, did you hear? Somebody heard all right. Nice going, Sherlock. And you said there was no one else in here. Sounds like the back of that door. Well, don't stand there, copper. Get in there and see what it's all about. What's the matter, Sherlock? Door stuck? Don't worry, I'll get it open. Well, it's all yours. We're getting this woman out of here. Stick around until he gets through. Maybe there'll be more. Go on. There's nobody in this place but this one. Now, come on, lady. We're going for a little ride. Sam, she's going to start scratching and biting the minute we grab her. Maybe I ought to go out and get the straitjacket before... What the... The cop! Sam, come on in here. He's not in here. And the door to the next room, I can't get it open. Let's go get some help. He just fell into something, that's all. No one in this house. Blasted door stuck. Come on, we'll break it down. Forget the woman, come on. Put your shoulder to it. Come on. Dark. I can't see a thing. Go on back in the other room and get the kerosene lamp. Get it, I say. Okay. Hold it high. Mother in heaven. On the floor. What is it? It's a man. Yes, I tell you. Yes, it's a man. A man. And he's turned inside out. Yes, don't you see? He's not cut open. He just turned inside out. I'm right, I tell you, right. See for yourself. It's a man. But the skin is the inside and the flesh is the outside. Sam, it's a miracle, I tell you. A man turned inside out, like you turn a glove inside out. Is that the cop? I don't know. Hold the lantern close to him. He's alive. He's alive. He's trying to get up. He's trying to get up, I tell you. Trying to move. I can't watch. Look at it. It's rolling over. Trying to get up. Look. Trying to get up on his knees. Make it stop. Kill it. Do something. A man can't live inside out. I never saw anything like this. And neither did anyone else. Oh, Sam, it's not the cop. No, how could it be? What could turn a man's body inside out like that? Look, on the floor next to it, the cop's gun. It is the cop. How could it be? Listen to him, Sam. Listen to him. Does he know what's happened to him? All the life process is going on. Listen to him. There's your answer. He knows. Pain. Well, he won't know that much longer. I couldn't stand it any longer. And it wasn't like shooting a man, was it? Let's get out of here. No. We gotta know what did this. We gotta find out. Listen, I just shot a man. You know that? And you'll do as I say. You'll stay here. You'll stay here with me until we find out what did this. Now look, there's another door. The answer might be in there. Be careful. We've got a gun, haven't we? I'm on a first-class miracle and the devil stopped me. I'm gonna find out the answer. You in there. If there's anybody in there, come on out with your hands up or I'll shoot. Come on closer. Hold the lantern high. There's no floor, but there's something down there. I don't see nothing. Nothing but dark. Look, the dark sort of spills over the edges. Look, I tell you, it's a deeper dark than dark. There's something moving in there. The woman, she's coming in here. What is she coming in here for? No, Sam, I'm going to find out what this is all about. All my life, things have been what they've been. I'm going to know all about this. Behind that door, what is it we saw? A hole in the floor and something dark. Shadows that crawl. Woman, what's it all about? You must know. Woman, if you know anything, you tell me. What was it we saw back of that door where the floor should have been? Do you know? Oh, she's going to the door. She's gonna open it. No, wait. She's just standing there, looking in there at the dark, Sam. What's that coming up out of the hole in the floor? The dark, it's like black smoke. It's reaching up to her, crawling up around her. It's covering her. No, inside out. It turned her inside out. Inside. Oh. Sam, get up. Sam, what do you want to faint for? Sam, get up, I tell you. We got to get out of here. What the... Sam, open your eyes. The shadows. They're crawling along the floor toward us. Come on, Sam. You're too heavy. I can't lift you, Sam. Sam, you gotta hear me. The shadows, they're crawling toward me along the floor. I can't leave you here, Sam, but they're coming for us. Sam, I can't leave you here, Sam. You saw what they did to her. Look at her. Inside out. A woman. Inside out. Sam, I'll drag you out with me, Sam. You're so heavy. They're coming faster and faster, like long black fingers. Oh, my legs. Let go of me. Sam, I can't help you. They're holding me back. The black, it's coming over you. Sam! Inside out! Sam! No, you thing, whatever you are, you get off of me. Stop covering me over. I gotta get out of here. I gotta tell them all about you. I gotta tell everyone that there's something like you loose in the world. I gotta warn everybody. Get off from me! You're cold, slimy. How can shadows be slimy? Cold, covering me over. My head, my face. Let go. My face, my mouth. Let go. I'm speaking to you from the roof of the broadcasting building, New York City. The bells you hear are ringing to warn the people to evacuate the city as the Martians approach. Estimated in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads to the north. Hutchison River Parkway still kept open for motor traffic. Avoid bridges to Long Island. All roads are hopelessly jammed. All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago. No more defenses. Our army wiped out. Artillery, Air Force, everything wiped out. This may be the last broadcast. We'll stay here to the end. People are holding service below us in the cathedral. Now I look down the harbor. All manner of boats overloaded with fleeing population pulling out from the docks. Streets are all jammed. Noise and crowds like New Year's Eve in a city. Wait a minute. Enemy now in sight above the Palisades. Five great machines. First one is crossing river. I can see it from here, wading into Hudson like a man wading through a brook. A bulletin's handed to me. Martian cylinders are falling all over the country. One outside Buffalo, one in Chicago, St. Louis. Now the first machine reaches the shore. He stands watching, looking out over the city. His steel, cowlish head is even with the skyscrapers. He waits for the others. They rise like a line of new towers on the city's west side. Now they're lifting their metal hands. This is the end now, folks. Smoke comes out. Black smoke, drifting over the city. People in the streets see it now. They're running toward the East River. Thousands of them, dropping in like rats. Now the smoke's spreading faster. It's reached Times Square. People trying to run away from it, but it's no use. They're falling like flies. Now the smoke's crossing 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue, 100 yards away. It's 50 feet. There was never really anything there, was there? Just your imagination. Most of us live our lives frightened of the dark, but there's nothing in the dark that isn't there when the lights are on. I didn't come up with that, Rod Serling did, but it's nice to think about if you can convince yourself sometimes to believe in it. Happy Halloween, everybody. Shadow, a Parable by Edgar Allan Poe, 1835. Ye who read are still among the living, but I who write shall have long since gone my way into the region of shadows. For indeed, strange things shall happen, and secret things be known, and many centuries shall pass away ere these memorials be seen of men. And, when seen, there will be some to disbelieve, and some to doubt, and yet a few who will find much to ponder upon in the characters here graven with the stylus of iron. The year had been a year of terror, and of feelings more intense than terror, for which there is no name upon the earth. For many prodigies and signs had taken place, and far and wide over sea and land, the black wings of the pestilence were spread abroad. To those, nevertheless, cunning in the stars, it was not unknown that the heavens wore an aspect of ill. And to me, the Greek Ainos, among others, it was evident that now had arrived the alternation of that 794th year when, at the entrance of Aries, the planet Jupiter is conjoined with the red ring of the terrible Saturnus. The peculiar spirit of the skies, if I mistake not greatly, made itself manifest, not only in the physical orb of the earth, but in the souls, imaginations, and meditations of mankind. Over some flasks of the red Chian wine, within the walls of a noble hall, in a dim city called Ptolemy, we sat, at night, a company of 7. And to our chamber there was no entrance save by a lofty door of brass, and the door was fashioned by the artisan Koranos, and being of rare workmanship, was fastened from within. Black draperies, likewise, in the gloomy room, shut out from our view the moon, the lurid stars, and the peopleless streets. But the boding and the memory of evil, they would not be so excluded. There were things around us and about us of which I can render no distinct account, things material and spiritual, heaviness in the atmosphere, a sense of suffocation, anxiety, and, above all, that terrible state of existence which the nervous experience when the senses are keenly living and awake, and meanwhile the powers of thought lie dormant. A dead weight hung upon us. It hung upon our limbs, upon the household furniture, upon the goblets from which we drank, and all things were depressed and borne down thereby, all things save only the flames of the 7 lamps which illumined our revel. Uprearing themselves in tall, slender lines of light, they thus remained burning all pallid and motionless, and in the mirror which their luster formed upon the round table of ebony at which we sat, each of us there assembled beheld the pallor of his own countenance, and the unquiet glare in the downcast eyes of his companions. Yet we laughed and were merry in our proper way, which was hysterical, and sang the songs of Anacreon, which are madness, and drank deeply, although the purple wine reminded us of blood. For there was yet another tenant of our chamber in the person of young Zoilus, dead, and at full length he lay, enshrouded, the genius and the demon of the scene. Alas, he bore no portion in our mirth, save that his countenance, distorted with the plague, and his eyes, in which death had but half extinguished the fire of the pestilence, seemed to take such interest in our merriment as the dead may haply take in the merriment of those who are to die. But although I, Inos, felt that the eyes of the departed were upon me, still I forced myself not to perceive the bitterness of their expression, and, gazing down steadily into the depths of the ebony mirror, sang with a loud and sonorous voice the songs of the son of Teos. But gradually my songs, they ceased, and their echoes, rolling afar off among the sable draperies of the chamber, became weak and undistinguishable, and so faded away. And lo, from among those sable draperies where the sounds of the song departed, there came forth a dark and undefined shadow, a shadow such as the moon, when low in heaven, might fashion from the figure of a man. But it was the shadow neither of man nor of God, nor of any familiar thing. And quivering a while among the draperies of the room, it at last rested in full view upon the surface of the door of brass. But the shadow was vague and formless and indefinite, and was the shadow neither of man nor of God, neither God of Greece, nor God of Chaldea, nor any Egyptian god. And the shadow rested upon the brazen doorway, and under the arch of the entablature of the room, and moved not, nor spoke any word, but there became stationary and remained. And the door whereupon the shadow rested was, if I remember aright, over against the feet of the young Zoilus enshrouded. But we, the 7 there assembled, having seen the shadow as it came out from among the draperies, dared not steadily behold it, but cast down our eyes and gazed continually into the depths of the mirror of ebony. And, at length, I, Inos, speaking some low words, demanded of the shadow its dwelling and its appellation. And the shadow answered, I am Shadow, and my dwelling is near to the catacombs of Ptolemy, and hard by those dim plains of Hallucian, which border upon the foul Charonian canal. And then did we, the seven, start from our seats in horror, and stand trembling and shuddering and aghast, for the tones in the voice of the shadow were not the tones of any one being, but of multitude of beings, and, varying in their cadences from syllable to syllable, fell duskly upon our ears in the well-remembered and familiar accents of many thousand departed friends. Silence, a Fable by Edgar Allan Poe, 1838. "Listen to me," said the demon as he placed his hand upon my head. "The region of which I speak is a dreary region in Libya, by the borders of the river Zaire, and there is no quiet there, nor silence. The waters of the river have a saffron and sickly hue, and they flow not onwards to the sea, but palpitate forever and forever beneath the red eye of the sun with a tumultuous and convulsive motion. For many miles on either side of the river's oozy bed is a pale desert of gigantic water lilies. They sigh one unto the other in that solitude, and stretch toward the heavens their long and ghastly necks, and nod to and fro their everlasting heads. And there is an indistinct murmur which cometh out from among them like the rushing of subterranean water, and they sigh one unto the other. But there is a boundary to their realm, the boundary of the dark, horrible, lofty forest. There, like the waves about the Hebrides, the low underwood is agitated continually. But there is no wind throughout the heaven, and the tall primeval trees rock eternally hither and thither with a crashing and mighty sound. And from their high summits, one by one, drop everlasting dews. And at the roots, strange poisonous flowers lie writhing in perturbed slumber. And overhead, with a rustling and loud noise, the gray clouds rush westwardly forever, until they roll, a cataract, over the fiery wall of the horizon. But there is no wind throughout the heaven, and by the shores of the river Zaire there is neither quiet nor silence. It was night, and the rain fell, and falling it was rain, but, having fallen, it was blood. And I stood in the morass among the tall, and the rain fell upon my head, and the lilies sighed one unto the other in the solemnity of their desolation. And, all at once, the moon arose through the thin, ghastly mist, and was crimson in color. And mine eyes fell upon a huge gray rock, which stood by the shore of the river, and was lighted by the light of the moon. And the rock was gray and ghastly and tall, and the rock was gray. Upon its front were characters engraven in the stone, and I walked through the morass of water lilies until I came close unto the shore, that I might read the characters upon the stone. But I could not decipher them. And I was going back into the morass when the moon shone with a fuller red, and I turned and looked again upon the rock and upon the characters. And the characters were desolation. And I looked upwards, and there stood a man upon the summit of the rock. And I hid myself among the water lilies, that I might discover the actions of the man. And the man was tall and stately in form, and was wrapped up from his shoulders to his feet in the toga of old Rome. And the outlines of his figure were indistinct, but his features were the features of a deity. For the mantle of the night, and of the mist, and of the moon, and of the dew, had left uncovered the features of his face, and his brow was lofty with thought, and his eye wild with care. And in the few furrows upon his cheek, I read the fables of sorrow and weariness, and disgust with mankind, and a longing after solitude. And the man sat upon the rock, and leaned his head upon his hand, and looked out upon the desolation. He looked down into the low, unquiet shrubbery, and up into the tall primeval trees, and up higher at the rustling heaven, and into the crimson moon. And I lay close within shelter of the lilies, and observed the actions of the man. And the man trembled in the solitude, but the night waned, and he sat upon the rock. And the man turned his attention from the heaven, and looked out upon the dreary river Zaire, and upon the yellow ghastly waters, and upon the pale legions of the water lilies. And the man listened to the sighs of the water lilies, and to the murmur that came up from among them. And I lay close within my covert, and observed the actions of the man. And the man trembled in the solitude, but the night waned, and he sat upon the rock. Then I went down into the recesses of the morass, and waded afar in among the wilderness of the lilies, and called upon the hippopotami which dwelt among the fens and the recesses of the morass. And the hippopotami heard my call, and came with the behemoth unto the foot of the rock, and roared loudly and fearfully beneath the moon. And I lay close within my covert, and observed the actions of the man. And the man trembled in the solitude, but the night waned, and he sat upon the rock. Then I cursed the elements with the curse of tumult, and a frightful tempest gathered in the heaven where before there had been no wind. And the heaven became livid with the violence of the tempest, and the rain beat upon the head of the man, and the floods of the river came down, and the river was tormented into foam, and the water lilies shrieked within their beds, and the forest crumbled before the wind, and the thunder rolled, and the lightning fell, and the rock rocked to its foundation. And I lay close within my covert, and observed the actions of the man. And the man trembled in the solitude, but the night waned, and he sat upon the rock. Then I grew angry and cursed with the curse of silence the river, and the lilies, and the wind, and the forest, and the heaven, and the thunder, and the sighs of the water lilies. And they became accursed, and were still, and the moon ceased to totter up to its pathway to heaven, and the thunder died away, and the lightning did not flash, and the clouds hung motionless, and the waters sunk to their level and remained, and the trees ceased to rock, and the water lilies sighed no more, and the murmur was heard no longer from among them, nor any shadow of sound throughout the vast illimitable desert. And I looked upon the characters of the rock, and they were changed, and the characters were silence. And mine eyes fell upon the countenance of the man, and his countenance was wan with terror. And hurriedly he raised his head from his hand, and stood forth upon the rock and listened. But there was no voice throughout the vast illimitable desert, and the characters upon the rock were silence. And the man shuddered, and turned his face away, and fled afar off in haste, so that I beheld him no more. Now, there are fine tales in the volumes of the Magi, in the iron-bound, melancholy volumes of the Magi. Therein, I say, are glorious histories of the heaven and of the earth and of the mighty sea, and of the genii that overruled the sea and the earth and the lofty heaven. There was much lore, too, in the sayings which were said by the Sibyls, and holy, holy things were heard of old by the dim leaves that trembled around Dodona. But, as Allah liveth, that fable which the demon told me as he sat by my side in the shadow of the tomb, I hold to be the most wonderful of all. And, as the demon made an end of his story, he fell back within the cavity of the tomb and laughed. And I could not laugh with the demon, and he cursed me because I could not laugh. And the lynx which dwelleth forever in the tomb came out therefrom, and lay down at the feet of the demon, and looked at him steadily in the face.